I went to find a job in a warehouse at the edge of town. It wasn't listed online, just a faded sign stapled to a telephone pole. Help needed, night shift. No company name, just an address. That should have been my first warning. The building was enormous, a concrete block squatting in an empty industrial park. No cars, no lights in the windows. When I knocked, the door slid open by itself, slow and groaning, like it hadn't been used in years. Inside, the air smelled wrong, dusty, metallic, and faintly sweet, like something trying to cover up rot. A man in a reflective vest appeared from between the shelves. I don't remember his face clearly. That's the strange part. I remember the vest, the clipboard. The way his voice echoed too much when he said, "You're late." I told him I was right on time. He smiled anyway and handed me a badge with my name already printed on it. But I never gave him my name. He led me deep into the warehouse, past rows of stacked boxes taller than houses. Every box was labeled with dates, tomorrow's date, the next day, weeks into the future. "What's in them?" I asked. "Inventory," he said. "Everyone starts as inventory." That's when the lights flickered. The shelves began to hum, low at first, then louder like breathing. I noticed something moving inside one of the boxes, scratching from the inside. I stepped closer and saw a hand-sized hole torn through the cardboard. There was an eye inside, wide and begging. I backed away, heart pounding. And that's when I realized the warehouse was full of sounds I hadn't noticed before. Whispering, crying. My name is being called from 100 different directions. The man sighed, annoyed. "New hires always panic," he said, reaching for my arm. I ran. Then a total blackout. Shit. When the lights came back on, I was alone. The man was gone. The screaming was gone. The boxes had settled, neat and silent, as if nothing had happened. A reflective vest lay, folded on the floor in front of me. It was damp. I didn't want to touch it. I already knew that if I did, something irreversible would happen. But the longer I stood there, the more the warehouse leaned toward me. The shelves creaked softly, metal stretching, like a body shifting its weight. Waiting. I picked up the vest. The moment I slipped it on, the badge at my chest grew warm, then hot. The number beneath my name changed. 00342. My head filled with instructions I hadn't learned. Routes. Schedules. Rules that felt ancient and absolute. Footsteps echoed behind me. I turned, expecting the man. "Hey," he said. "I'm here about the job." My mouth opened on its own. "You're late," I heard myself say. The words tasted wrong, like swallowing rust. He frowned. "My GPS stopped working." "This place is huge. Are you the manager?" I tried to warn them. I tried to scream. But the rules wrapped tighter around my chest, squeezing the truth down into something manageable. "Orientation is quick," I said. "Just don't open any boxes." As I led him deeper into the warehouse, I noticed things I hadn't before. How the boxes shifted to clear our path. How the shelves angled subtly inward, guiding us. How the whispers softened when I passed, like they recognized me now. A hand touched my shoulder. I flinched and turned. The man stood there again, but he looked older now, smaller. The vest on him was faded, almost colorless. "You're doing well," he said. "They always fight less after the first promotion." "Is there ever a way out?" I asked. He considered this. "Out is just another department." He said gently, "Most people don't last long enough to see it. What happens when the numbers run out?" His smile trembled. "They don't." The lights flickered. Somewhere, a printer began churning. A new badge slid out onto the floor. I bent down to pick it up. The name on it wasn't mine anymore. It was yours. I thought the mountain people were just cautious. They watched the sky too closely, counted footsteps, touched the ground before entering their homes, like they were asking permission. When I arrived, they smiled and welcomed me, but every smile carried the same quiet urgency. Like I'd shown up late to something important. The woman who rented me my room tied a thin cord around my wrist before I could stop her. "Don't remove it," she said, "even to sleep." That night, the mountain made noises I couldn't place. Long exhalations, a distant, rhythmic thud, like a heart too large for one body. I told myself it was wind, until the wind began to whisper. My name slid through the trees. Stretched and tested, pronounced almost right. I held my breath. Then something brushed the window, slowly, as if counting pains. Then the mirror across from my bed, fogged from the inside. I watched fingerprints appear, one by one, pressing outward. Shit. I froze in bed, staring at the dark. Then soft knocking came, traveling along the wall, as if fingers were testing for weak spots. I almost called out. Instead, someone knocked once, hard on my door from the hallway. "Don't answer anything that knows your name." The innkeeper whispered through the wood. "We're here." I didn't sleep. The next day, the villagers followed me everywhere without admitting it. Someone always walked just ahead of me on the trail. Someone always lingered behind. When the fog thickened, hands would gently steer me away from the forest, back toward warmth and voices and bells. I asked what they were protecting me from. They exchanged looks. From being noticed, an old man finally said. That night, the fog poured into the village like a living thing. The bells rang on their own. The cord on my wrist burned. Then I heard my voice outside. Perfect, calm, convincing. "I'm lost," it said. "Please open the door." My door handle began to turn from the inside. I screamed, and the villagers surged in, chanting, throwing salt, pressing their hands against the walls, as if holding something back. Through the window, I saw it standing in the fog wearing my face, disappointed. By morning, the mountain was quiet again. The innkeeper untied the cord from my wrist. "You're safe now," she said, "but you have to leave." "Why?" I asked. She met my eyes, still shaking. "Because it learned your voice," she said. "And next time, we won't know which one of you is real." I left at sunrise. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear myself calling my name, and I never answer. The car had been idling for 3 minutes when I realized the engine wasn't making a sound. The dashboard lights were on. The radio glowed faintly. The speedometer needle twitched, eager. But the hum you expect, the comforting vibration that tells you the machine is alive, was missing. It felt like sitting inside something that was holding its breath. I turned the key anyway. The car lurched forward on its own. My foot wasn't on the gas. Streetlights slid past as the car picked up speed, tires whispering against the asphalt. The steering wheel resisted my grip, tugging left, then right, correcting itself like it knew where it was going better than I did. Outside, the neighborhood looked familiar, my neighborhood. But every house was dark, windows blacked out like empty eye sockets. The radio crackled. A voice came through, low and distorted, as if speaking through a mouth full of dirt. "Seatbelt." I froze. Then the belt snapped tight across my chest, bruising my ribs. Fuck, what's happening? The locks clicked once, twice, final. The speedometer climbed, 40, 60, 80. "Stop," I whispered, yanking the wheel. But the car ignored me. Oh my God. The road ahead stretched longer than it should have, looping back on itself. Streets folding into streets that didn't exist on any map. Every turn I recognized came too late, as if memory itself was lagging behind the motion. Then I saw someone in the road. It was me. Same clothes, same terrified eyes. Standing dead still, illuminated by the headlights. Mouth open in a silent scream. I slammed the brakes. Nothing. The car didn't slow, it didn't swerve, it drove straight through. The impact never came, but in the rearview mirror, I saw myself now sitting in the back seat, soaked and shaking, hands pressed against the glass, mouthing words I couldn't hear. Shit. The radio hissed again. "Next rider," the voice said. The doors locked harder. The road bent downward, disappearing into darkness. And the car finally began to make a sound. Not an engine. It's breathing. Slow, deep, hungry. And I realized, too late, that I wasn't riding the car anymore. The car was riding me.